Welcome, everyone, to the Credible Nerds Podcast. My name is Justin, and we are here to talk about The Mandalorian Chapter 12, The Siege. And I'm here with my fellow Mandalorians, Nathan and Blake.
Hello.
Hey, everyone.
And we're glad to be back talking more Mandalorian. When we last left you guys in the last episode, if you haven't watched that one already, with Chapter 11 was The Heiress. Go back and watch that one for sure. But we had left it thinking we were actually going to meet up with the Jedi that he's looking for, but we had kind of forgotten that about this little side quest. So we're going to be talking about this. And it's, for me, it was more than just a filler episode. That word, that phrase gets thrown around a lot with some of these episodes. Oh, it's just a filler episode. But in some ways it was, but in a lot of ways it was a lot of cool information, cool scenes. So yeah, I think it was well worth it to watch this one. But first of all, thank you for watching, but we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like the videos, comment on the videos so we can interact with you guys and get your feedback. The feedback that we do get or the comments that we do get, we read and really enjoy them. So thanks everyone who's commented and interacted with us in the past. We appreciate it. So keep on doing that. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you're watching this. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps us out. And you can get further notifications of future videos. So thanks in advance for doing that. So back to the episode. As far as Mando, he left the water planet with the ship all tied up and, twine holding it all together. And they end up kind of stalling in space, and they're trying to fix it. And the opening scene is we got Grogu trying to plug the red wire into the hole where the blue wire came out. And Mando's trying to direct him through this long hallway, and he's like, what? Huh? And then obviously, he shocks himself. So
Yeah.
He doesn't work. So I don't know. What'd you think about this cold open with, the funny part with Grogu? We get a lot of that this episode, the humorous moments with Grogu. What do you guys think about this comedy, the comedic side of things? Blake, what do you think?
People getting electrocuted is always a good time. No, it was fun. It was kind of a fun little exchange with them. And again, I watched these with my kids, and they love that. So I think we watched that part 2 or 3 times. So
yeah,
it was fun.
It was a Groot moment for me, baby Groot moment for me.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was cool. It was funny.
And then we cut to a scene with Cara Dune. We get Gina Carano as Cara. Is it Cara or Cara?
Cara?
Doesn't matter. Cara. Is it Han or
Doesn't
Han?
matter now.
Right? Hoth or Hoth. But
Not Hoth.
hopefully not. So we got Cara Dune, and she comes in kicking some butt. There's these shady people who's set up shop in the armorer's a little room back there, and they're running it looks like a side business where they're selling things or something.
Yeah,
but she
they
comes
stole
in,
stuff and they're getting ready to sell it, trying to hawk it off. But she comes in and they're like, oh, the marshal's here, and they're afraid. So she wasn't the marshal last time we saw her, I don't think. So no,
she's making some moves and making some career choices instead of this hiding out on rogue planets and trying to not get noticed. She got a job now. So.
Yeah. I think that was kind of just a little inside thing to let you know that something's changed since they left. During the time Mando's been gone from Navarro, obviously there's been some improvements there.
Yeah, that's a good point. As the show goes on, Mando shows up, gets Greef Karga to agree to fix his ship because it's a piece of trash, and they tour Navarro, at least the town there is. So the planet is Navarro, right? And the city's
Navarro City, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
They ran out of names.
Yeah, there's only one name for the whole place. But it's changed, like you said. The cantina that got destroyed when Moff Gideon showed up with the troopers and just blasted it away is now a school.
Oh, is it? I didn't make that connection.
At least that's what it looked like to me. It looked like it was the same building, but maybe not. At least it's all cleaned up, and it's a place of learning instead of a
place of
cantina.
learning.
I don't know. A lot has changed. So how much time has passed since we last were in
That's
Navarro?
a good question.
The last episode of the last season.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long. Maybe a year or something. Or
Think
less.
it's that long? I was going
know.
to guess 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think time-wise, the show makes it seem like it's been 3 months or so, but the city looks like it's been a year.
Yeah.
So
cleaned up nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably maybe.
So how long was Mando on Tatooine, I think? Because once he leaves Tatooine, it's... Well, I guess he does travel through space without hyperdrive, and that can take a long time. So
yeah,
maybe a couple of factors there. Doesn't matter. But things have changed. It's
things
a new
have
place.
definitely changed. Yeah, they got a protocol droid teaching school, about a bunch of kids. Which this was an interesting scene because there was a lot of things said that I had never knew. Probably because I don't own Star Wars encyclopedias and I don't, pore over Star Wars wiki. But there was some stuff said in here that I never knew, and I just made some assumptions on.
Like what?
Well, specifically about the different the names of the different areas of the universe. I always thought basically there was Star Wars and then and the Outer Rim.
Yeah.
There was everything that took place, and then there was the Outer Rim. And then to hear all the different descriptions of all the different places, they talk about and I wrote them down here, so let me look at my notes here. Yeah. There's the mid rim, the expansion region. There's the inner rim, and then you've got colonies, core, deep core. I had never heard those terms before. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Coruscant is core.
Yeah.
Maybe even deep core. I'm not sure.
It's core. That was part of the episode.
Okay.
And I made that note. Yeah. So,
okay.
But I also didn't know that the capital of the Republic had moved, was no longer on Coruscant, because they mentioned that as well.
Yeah, we see that in episode 7.
Do we?
It's when that planet gets destroyed from Starkiller Base.
Sure.
That's the new base, I guess, the new headquarters. Did you write down the name, or do you remember the name?
I did write down the name. It is Chandrilla?
Yeah.
Or Candrilla? Chandrilla. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why they moved it.
But this is Coruscant's still there at this point. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know why it's moved, but maybe it's because it was corrupt. Maybe they maybe they felt like if it's a new government, we need a new capital to kind of start fresh.
Yeah.
But it also made sense to me because this entire time I'm like, the Empire's gone. It's destroyed. How is it still even existing, and how does it still have followers? And the perspective I got from this is that the Empire is still operating on just the Outer Rim, and it's on the fringe of the universe. And there's a comment made at the end where, the and I don't know if we want to bring this up now, but essentially the rebel X-wing fighter, the scout, he says there's stuff going on out here that we can't keep an eye on and we need help from the locals, which makes me that to insinuate that what's happening in the core, that they are assuming that the Empire is gone, that it doesn't exist, and that everything that they're encountering is actually stuff that's kind of happening in secret. And it's only happening in the Outer Rim, and they don't keep in touch and they don't communicate. Well,
and he kind of said these things are connected. There's things happening and they're connected, and it's something bigger. Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah, and I didn't make that connection when the first time we watched it.
Yeah, I think it kind of made it sound like the general public or the senators, the government, didn't really understand how bad it was out there.
Yeah.
But the people who are out there flying their X-Wings, that sort of thing, they understand, like Blake said, there's something else going on. What is it? So that's interesting. I hope we get to see that. I know next season we're going back to Mandalore, so maybe it ties in somehow, but I'm hoping we get a season where how does the Empire transition to the First Order, or does the First Order just come in from somewhere else and become a thing? Or, I would anticipate something like that. So my guess is there's something going on out here is the rise of the First Order.
Right. Yeah. It's bigger than they realize. They're assuming the Empire is wiped out, gone and destroyed. And there's probably like warlords who who are using stormtroopers as for hire as mercenaries. But there actually is a small Empire faction that's kind of growing back up from the ashes, and they're doing. They're operating out in the outer rim, which I would have assumed everyone the Republic would know about, but it sounds like they don't. Yeah, it doesn't sound like the New Republic or the government really keeps an eye on what happens in the outer rim.
I just don't think they're big enough right now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So they're still growing, trying to organize. It's only been five. I've heard 5 years. I heard 7 years. I'm not sure which one it is, but
I think it's 5.
yeah, it hasn't been too long in the grand scheme of things.
But now that we're in season 2, maybe it's 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so interesting stuff there. I did like that shot with Cara Dune coming in and just kicking butts. It was good to see her back in action.
Yeah.
We know that she's no longer with the show due to outside stuff. But I think the Mandalorian's going to miss, like the show, the Mandalorian's going to miss Cara Dune and Gina Carano. I think that was an unfortunate loss. Whatever side of the debate you fall on, I think you have to agree it's unfortunate.
Yeah, she was definitely a great character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she wasn't the best actor, but I thought she did her job well, and
yeah, she played her part.
Fun
fine.
to watch.
The character, I think, played, as you mentioned, but did just fine.
Yeah,
It was good that she brought in those wrestling moves, chokeholds, and things like that.
Yeah.
It was always fun to see.
I do have a go ahead.
Well, I really don't know much about her. Did she come from WWE or did she come from like MMA? Yeah. But did she do, like, a lot of them will go from MMA to the WWE kind of a thing?
No, I don't think so.
I think
Like,
she just went into acting, right?
acting.
Was
Fast
it
and Furious.
Banshee? Was that the
Banshee.
What was the series she was in? I can't remember what it was.
Oh, was she in another TV?
She was in like a Showtime series or something. Anyway. Yeah.
Cool.
She'll be back. She'll be in other
Yeah.
stuff.
Was she in Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, she was in one of them. I think the one they went to Dubai.
Oh.
I don't know, which was 7, 6, 8. I don't know. So yeah, it was good to see her back again. So they land. Mando shows up, and you get Greef is like, "Hey, go ahead and fix his ship." And you got these two guys walking over, and one of them kind of, the camera focuses on him. He turns. You got this, mean. I don't know what is this. What's the word I'm trying to find?
Well, it's the proverbial I'm watching you
Yeah.
and I'm obviously a spy for somebody else. Look.
Yeah. It's like, you better watch out for this guy.
I'm going to report you to Moff Gideon.
Yeah. And that comes out later.
Yeah.
So you kind of know something's up. But then they walk through the town. It's all changed. They put Baby Yoda in school. They need someone to babysit Yoda, right?
Babysit Yoda.
So this time it's a protocol droid.
We need to talk business.
Yeah. And you had brought up something earlier before we started about how it's another episode of, hey, I'll help you.
Yeah.
You help me. Let's go on this adventure.
Yeah, I mean, they go, he's like, this is where we're going. It's no place for a kid. Leave the kid here. Let's go talk. And he's like, hey, I'm getting a little tired of the I'll help you if you help me do this task kind of storyline that happens in every single episode. Quite almost literally, instead of just like, I mean, they could still have done the exact same story, but the whole like, hey, let's make a deal. I'll help you build a ship in exchange for me taking out this Empire base. Why couldn't it could just have easily been while he's there, they get attacked. And then they're like, oh, there's still troopers here. And they follow them and find out there's a base. And then they're like, we need to take this base out. Mm-hmm. And he's just kind of gets caught up in it. I mean, they could have presented that way instead of the typical trope of, I'll scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, which happens at the beginning of almost every episode. But
yeah. It's kind of like the A-Team, right?
Yeah, right. I love the A-Team.
Yeah,
so.
A-Team's great. We loved it as kids.
Yeah.
So we're used to it. I don't know, Blake, did you have a Do you have a nickname for this episode?
I don't. I'll have to think of one. Yeah.
So, okay.
It's called The Siege, right? That was the one. That's what we're talking about.
Siege.
Yeah.
Which is, why is it called The Siege? I mean,
because they
lay siege to the base, but they don't, a siege is usually like.
It is a little,
presumptive.
It's usually a siege is like.
The offensive siege.
You come and you set up camp and you wear them out over a long period of time. And they're like, hey, let's go check out this base. And they pull up to the front door and they're like, all right, let's just go in and do it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like,
no recon, no nothing.
Yeah.
But.
So,
all right.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. Walking through the front door.
Yeah.
Well, and as they pull up, he says, this is as far as I'll take you. And I thought, he's like 4 feet away from the front door. And there's stormtroopers up on top, like standing watch or whatever.
Right, yeah.
They're not watching the front door. I guess that's the best plan, right?
Yeah.
The thing they'll least expect.
You think, and that it appears to be the only ground entrance is that elevator door. Maybe we should post some guards at the front door.
Yeah.
But nah, we're good. Yeah. No one uses the front door.
Yeah.
Or at least, I've gotten like 3 notifications that people were at my front door while I've been here.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have put
Now, of course,
in there.
We get the return of the Mithril guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not Mithril, not Lord of the Rings armor.
No, not Mithril. Mithril.
The guy who got encased in carbonite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it was fun to see him, but is it played by the same actor?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's kind of the joke of the bunch, right? They're always ripping on him and making him do stuff that he doesn't want to do. And I was surprised he survived, because usually that character ends up getting whacked at some point.
Yeah.
Killed, but
there was one, like, while they're in the halls under attack, and there's one spot where they're kind of moving through, and he does this like Benny Hill thing where he like slides one direction then the other direction.
Whoa.
Comes back the
Benny Hill reference. That's
Benny
going
Hill.
back.
I had a weird childhood.
Yeah. I think we all watch Benny Hill as kids. Parents are in bed. Oh yeah, now I can watch Benny Hill.
So
your Benny Hill episode. There we go.
Well, now people are gonna be googling Benny Hill, YouTube and Benny Hill. They're gonna be like, whoa.
Yeah. But it was always on like regular TV, so it wasn't that bad.
It was British, right? So it was like on KUED or whatever it was.
Well, that's the fun.
PBS.
Yeah. We're getting in the weeds now, but I think it was on like after it was on public television. Yeah. On late at night,
like 11.
Yeah, after like the sophisticated news
Masterpiece
Theater or show, and now Benny Hill. Yeah,
the wife's gone to bed. Now the husband's gonna watch Benny Hill.
Oh, you want to watch public TV tonight, honey? Sure, we can do that.
Yeah. So they infiltrate the base, and
Benny Hill style.
I kind of liked that theme in general with all stories where they thought the base was empty, right? Because
something. Well, empty or just not a lot there. Because if it was empty, what would be the point of blowing it up?
They said there's just a minimal number of people there. Let's get this last piece taken care of. Let's really get things in Navarro cleaned up, and then they get there.
And apparently that's where all the troopers came from when Moff Gideon showed up the first time.
That's right.
So that's where they came from.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go back, clean it out, and blow it up. So it's not the Empire's not a threat anymore. There, at least there.
Yeah.
But they get more than they bargained for. It's full garrison. It looks like a bunch of troopers running around. So they got to sneak through the hallways, and I've always liked that. Throwback to Episode 4, but also a bunch of other movies, right? Where they got Indiana Jones and things like that. So I always liked that. It was fun to see. They make it to the... I was confused as to what it was. It was like a shield that held the lava down.
Looks like there was some sort of glowing aura that was holding it down. I wasn't sure that they specifically said shield, but that sounded like if we release the coolant,
Yeah.
But in the end, what they did was shut off a shield that let the lava. But I don't know. But what did you think of the crawl around with no guardrail?
Yeah, that was a good statement.
It's not even a guardrail.
Yeah, was that intentional?
Yeah.
Was that like
Oh yeah,
like an Easter egg or a tribute to Episode 4?
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah, Obi-Wan. Doesn't anyone believe in guardrails around here?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think back where it came from. I think it was just a meme that popped up
Oh,
a
was
few
it?
years ago, or maybe someone wrote a statement on it and it went viral. But
Yeah.
that's where I've seen it, is on social media stuff.
Right.
So,
Why do we put the button on the full other side of the control panel where you can fall to your death?
Yeah.
Kind of, who designed this thing? Yeah. I thought that was funny.
But basically, it was the tractor beam
Yeah.
thing from the Death Star.
Yep.
That's same concept, I guess. You got to go out there and flip the switches and decrease the power.
I was waiting for Obi-Wan Kenobi to show up and be like, "I'll take care of this.
I got this." Yeah. So they do that. Then the lava starts to rise, so they got to get out of there.
Yeah.
They're running through. They come upon this room, and the guys are like, "Hurry, get rid of all the info. Dump the hard drives or whatever. Get rid of it now. Shoot it." They were trying to cover up something.
Yeah.
And they come running in. They shoot the guys, and then they see all these things, these vats with people in them, or things. I couldn't really tell what they were. I don't know if you guys were able to.
Yeah,
No.
looked like something that went sideways, like some type of clone or something that was not fully developed. Or
I mean, the one thing I was like, is that a Snoke-looking thing? But I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I think it could be like that could be related in the sense that that's the same project, but I don't think that was a Snoke thing.
Yeah.
Because that was typically on Exegol in Episode 9. I think that's where that step took place.
A bowl full of Snokes.
Yeah. But I don't know. They pulled up a recording, Dr. Pershing from the first couple episodes of the series, and he's talking to Moff Gideon, and he's like, "Did you write down what he said?"
Not specifically, but I do recall what he said, and basically that the testing they had failed, and he believed that the problem is that they didn't have a sufficient sample, and that because the Grogu, the baby, basically, being so small, they couldn't draw a lot. But of course, he does specifically mention M count, which that's kind of like one of those hot topics.
Yeah, midi-chlorian count.
Yeah, he says, but he doesn't say that. He
Right.
says M count, which I thought was interesting. But basically, he says we need more blood, and so there you go.
And did they mention clones, or was it just inferred?
They do not mention clones.
Yeah.
The word clone did not get said.
Yeah. But that's the impression I got.
Yeah.
They're
I
doing
mean,
something that way.
as you said, we've mentioned before, the insignion is that of the clone group, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
From Camino, which is
Camino.
no longer around at this point.
Yeah.
And at the end of, I think we'll get some more info on that, at least the genesis of the project in Bad Batch, because they kind of alluded to at the very last episode, the last scene. They kidnap one of the Kaminoans, one of the cloners, and bring her to this base, and they're like, "Oh, you'll do good here," and it's like inferring that this is your new work. You're gonna work here and do some more cloning stuff, and so I think you'll see the genesis of the project, or at least the research or whatever, in the Bad Batch series, and then we'll see more of it in Mandalorian, and potentially. Maybe even in Andor, we saw a scene of what looked like the Kaminoan housing. They had those tunnels when Obi-Wan was walking through the clone trooper facility. And they had those glass tunnels. It looked very similar to that. So maybe we'll get some more of that there. I don't know how that ties into things, but.
Now, the Bad Batch, I don't know. Are you talking about what you saw at Celebration? And
no.
Has that since been? Oh, okay.
It was season 1.
Season 1.
Yeah, last episode of season 1.
Okay.
And then season 2 doesn't start till January. So,
but nothing like that was in what you saw in the at Celebration.
Not that I can recall. I'm kind of fuzzy on it. It's been a couple months, but yeah. So I think we'll get more information revealed in the next season of Mandalorian, or maybe future seasons, and then in Bad Batch. I think they'll start to bridge that gap to get us to the point with episode 9. Like, how did they come up with Snoke? How did that all go down? What was Darth Sidious's plan there? Palpatine's plan and all that stuff. So I think they'll just throw us tidbits here and there in these different series about what all that means.
Do you think it'll come out more, or do you think it'll just kind of stay a sub kind of storyline? Because it seems like this is kind of morphing into more of a Mandalorian journey and them taking back Mandalore, and the whole cloning thing has now kind of taken a back seat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be, at least with the Mandalorian, it'll be a side story that pops up every once in a while. I don't know of any projects coming up that would be in the same era. I mean, we have Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew, the new one with Jude Law. That'll be coming out soon. I think that's it, at least that I can remember, as far as like this era, this timeline.
Maybe more will come out with the Ahsoka series.
Might see more there. So yeah, interesting stuff. We had the whole Force Unleashed game where, I don't know if you guys remember that, where they tried to clone a Force user and Darth Vader took him on as an apprentice, and that was a pretty fun game. So that whole concept's been around for quite some time. Yeah, probably the last 20 years, so 15 years. So I think they'll keep messing with it.
A big revelation from this one, though, I just assumed, and I realized, of course, watching it, is they've been operating under the pretense that Moff Gideon was dead.
Yeah. And they revealed, this recording was from 3 days ago. Yeah. So that was interesting. Yeah. We knew that. The audience knew that. Yeah. But they didn't.
Which I forgot that they didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, then they were able to escape. Mandalorian realizes, hey, they're going to go after the child, so I'm going to leave now. Use my jetpack to head back. So he leaves the group. The other 3 have to escape through other means. So they're running through the tunnels, the hallways. Troopers are chasing them. Pretty cool. I thought, compared to the last episode with the troopers on the ship, that these troopers were more menacing or more of a danger than they were to the ones we saw in the Heiress. Yeah. What do you guys think about this hallway scene compared to the others?
Yeah. I mean, I think when we get into the chase a little bit, that's when it gets even more dicey. So I don't know if it's because the scenes in the halls were more menacing, but just more dimensions came out as it continued on, But yeah, overall, I felt a little bit more like, or a little less like, all right, just get to the next corridor. All right, next corridor, it did seem like it held a little bit more weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it. They did seem like there was the potential that one of them could actually get shot. Yeah. When they're on the landing pad, they appear to be pinned down. That was a pretty good scene. I liked how the mithril character is that his species or is that his name?
I think it's his species, but they haven't identified his name.
I wonder if we'll have to look that up. Mm-hmm. But there's a part where he just kind of pops his head up real fast, up and down.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Was that like I didn't know what was going on there? Was he trying to draw their fire or something like that? But
I don't know.
I think he was just a fish out of water.
Yeah.
But, it was weird though that they're like, we're pinned down by the 3 stormtroopers that are in an elevator shooting at us, and we're in the open. Like it was, But
But I did like the transport ship, right? Because that was, and I think we saw it in, it escapes me, not a New Order, Rogue One. Didn't we see a troop transport that Star Wars toy that was only never in any of the movies. It was just a toy.
Yeah.
Where it was like a stormtrooper transport ship.
Yeah.
It was in Rogue One, right? And this was a similar, or was it the same
I think it was
ship?
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Seemed
when
like the one in Rogue One was bigger, or I don't know.
I think that was a tank, wasn't it?
this one had a gun on the top.
It did have
Yeah.
a gun on top.
But the one in a Rogue One, but I don't know if they're exactly the same, but to me it looked like a reference to that old toy that you could get.
It was. Yeah. I remember seeing it and like, oh yeah, I remember that toy.
Yeah. I remember that toy. Never owned it, but
Right.
But what did you think of it flying over the edge?
I thought that was a little much.
Did you think that was a little? No way that could do that.
Yeah. They needed to have like some sort of thrusters to kind of at least slow it down.
Break the
Instead of just free falling for 200.
The speeder was there, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the speeder broke its fall.
Yeah.
Was that my speeder?
Yeah.
But I did love the speeder bikes.
Yeah.
And when they flew off, I was like, no way. But that's not what they did. They rode.
They kind of
Down the
rode the
hill
Man
down.
from Snowy River style, you know? It was cool.
That was
And-
more believable.
It was more, and it was cool. I was like, this is
Yeah, as
cool.
they're weaving through and hitting stuff.
Yeah.
And you like the quality was very good.
It was
It was
very
like,
good.
Yeah.
Theater, like movie quality. It was cool to watch.
I was really like, wow, it was short, right? Them skiing, essentially snow skiing down that mountain. It was only a few seconds, but for those few seconds, you're like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah. Well, then they, follow him down the canyon. I thought that was just as cool.
Yeah.
What's his name? Greef Karga goes in the back with the cannons and starts shooting them, taking them out. At least one of them. And then one of them gets smashed against the side of the canyon by Cara Dune.
Yeah.
And then the other one is able to get on top. Then Greef Karga blows him away
Yeah.
with the guns.
Liked it.
And then TIE fighters show up. I mean,
Yeah.
even ups the ante even more. You get more danger to our heroes. And that was pretty sweet to have them chase down the canyon. And that's something we didn't even see in the movies. We saw space battles,
Yeah.
but we never saw anything where they're, at least in the original trilogy
No.
and probably the prequels. We saw pod racing in the prequels, but no ship, TIE fighters in the atmosphere type thing.
Yeah.
I really like that.
It was cool. And I liked, and I don't know if we'd seen this before, how about the wings, how they were folded, and then when it took off, they straightened out.
Yeah,
I like that.
that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, because I don't think we had seen that before.
We saw it in the last episode of season 1 when Moff Gideon shows up.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
lands it. But yeah, this show is the first time we've seen it.
Yeah,
Like, how do they land? How do they get out?
yeah, because you see him in Star Destroyer bays, and they're just kind of like up against the walls,
Yeah.
but their wings are fixed. I'd never seen them like that, and even the old toys, the wings didn't do that. So that I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're not able to really escape the ties. I think they shoot down one, but the debris from that destroys the cannon,
Oh yeah,
of course. So they're now in more danger. And they're trying to get away, and then Mandalorian shows up in his brand new, totally refurbished.
That was quick. It was.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Razor
get
Crest.
the right people on it.
It looked good.
Yeah, I thought like maybe the X-wings were gonna show up when I was just waiting for those two guys and those to zoom in and their X-wings and start
Rangers come and
blasting,
help.
and help them out. Especially when I heard that the gunfire, the blaster fire, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, here comes the X-wings.
Yeah.
So to see Mandalorian as Razor Crest flying around in his RV,
Yeah. It's Winnebago.
this is Winnebago, which I love. I love that ship. I don't know. What'd you think? Do you think it's that I mean, TIE fighters, the whole thing with TIE fighters versus X-Wings were like TIE fighters, they're quicker and they can turn faster, but they don't have
The shields.
the shields, they don't have the armor, they don't have the firepower, and that's where the X-Wing was like supposed to be like the counterbalance. So what do you think of the Razor Crest fighting TIE fighters? Because were they just really bad pilots, or is the Mandalorian just a really good pilot? Or because it doesn't seem like the Razor Crest should be able to handle like it did. But what do you guys think?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's it was a lot more versatile than I thought it would be, but it's one of those things. I kind of thought the same thing. That's not a fighter ship, and you know, I don't know. I don't drag race in my minivan very often, but maybe I could do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining,
right?
But I just kind of was like, oh, I didn't think the Razor Crest could handle like that.
I think we're led to believe he's a good pilot.
It's supposed to be
especially with the maneuvers that he was pulling off,
right?
The twists, the turns, the barrel rolls.
Well, yeah, the barrel roll right at the last one right there.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
That was cool to see.
Yeah. So he survives. Baby Yoda throws up his cookie. His green cookie that has been eaten.
Macaroons. Those just look like macaroon cookies.
Yeah.
Although that was probably my favorite use of the Force.
Stealing cookies.
That's what if I was a Jedi, that's probably what I'd do. Just sit around and grab snacks from the other room.
I like he was like to the kid, he's like, give me a cookie, man. And he's like, no, give me a cookie. No, I'm not going to give you a cookie.
Yeah.
It's like, takes a whole tube.
Yeah.
And just looks at him while he eats.
Yeah. What's he going to do now?
Should have given me that cookie, dude.
Yeah. So, I thought overall a great episode. It was a side quest. Hopefully this is the last one, because I think the next couple have purpose. And I don't mind a side quest here and there, but I think even the last one, the Heiress, was a side quest, even though I thought it was really well done and a good episode still.
Yeah.
So was the one before that, so.
Yeah, like I said, I don't mind them so much as just the way they present them. It's always like, hey, let's sit. I need this. Oh, you need that? Well, I need something. Let's have a conversation and make a deal.
Yeah.
I wish they could just be like some
more
organic. More organic, exactly.
Yeah.
Something, a catalyst that he gets him, mix it up a little bit, because this whole making a deal, I'll help you if you help me at the beginning of every episode, it's
too formulaic.
Yeah.
It gets, I wouldn't say old, but routine. We'll see that.
Well, when you just, of course it's a rewatch for us, right? So maybe it's just standing out more.
Well, I think we noticed it before, but.
Yeah, but it is interesting. I mean, like you said earlier, I don't even know that this episode needed that exchange, right? It's like, Razor Crest is in the shop. Here's what's going on the planet. There's this one last thing, and then you just go. You don't have to make a deal every time.
And it's his buddies, so it's like, I'll help my friends out.
Yeah, put my best guys on it.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, all right, great. I thought you were doing me a brother a solid or something like that. Yeah.
So, cool. So overall, great episode. I enjoyed it. I thought it fit in well with what we'd already seen. Expanded the whole cloning. Moff Gideon's. It kind of revealed his impetus or his reasons for wanting Baby Yoda. Like we know he wanted some blood. Okay, what's the blood for? Now we know. A little more specific as to what that need is, what his mission is a little bit more. We still don't know the full thing, but I feel like it revealed some more of that overall series plot that we've been getting hints of. So I thought that was great. Saw Mando in action. His ship's finally fixed. Hopefully it lasts him a little bit longer before it gets ruined again. We'll find out.
Yeah, right.
And some more humorous Baby Yoda moments, so that's good. I don't know. What are some good things that you guys, perhaps that we haven't talked about, or that you guys enjoyed?
Well, overall, I mean, I liked the episode. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, and it was. I think it showed Cara and it had evolved as a character and I don't know. Good to see them move along, and then even though it was a little bit of a sidestep of an episode, it did move along some of the storylines, with Moff Gideon and things like that, which is kind of like what the Heiress did too. It did lay out some of the things that you knew were going to be big plot drivers in the future. So, it was good.
And that reminds. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to mention the end there. the scout, the ranger, he's talking to Cara Dune. He finds out, or he doesn't find out. He looks her up. Obviously, he knows all about her. Talks about how he needs them. But I was going to ask you because I don't know. But he drops that. He talks about Alderaan, obviously. Yeah. But what's that rebel
little badge or
that big giant belt buckle he throws on the table? Like what was that? Do you know?
So it's either. My first thought was, is that his card that he's leaving? Call me if you change your mind.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a sheriff's badge.
Oh.
And because I know the plan, this was a backdoor pilot or introduction to the pilot for Rangers of the New Republic, where Cara Dune's gonna be like, calls him up or makes contact and is like, hey, I'll take you up on your offer. She becomes more involved with the New Republic. I don't know if she becomes an X-Wing pilot, but she becomes more involved with the cause and hunting down, the threat in the Outer Rim that's out there.
So was that like his offer? He's like, become
one of us.
One of us. Here's your badge, kind of a thing.
Yeah. That's the impression I got from it. I took away from it.
Oh, okay.
And then, obviously, she's no longer in the show anymore, Gina Carano. So that's they're not going to recast her.
Yeah.
They're not going to. They may revamp the storyline to have it still be a story, but a different introduction to it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about it since the whole thing went down with her.
Yeah.
Other than, hey, this is what we're going to do. And everything that came out was like people who were involved with the project but couldn't say anything. So there wasn't a lot of detail or names attached. So it could just be speculation. But I got the impression it was more than that. That's the direction they were going to go in. And now they're not. So, but one thing with this guy that keeps showing up, I just don't see him as a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Or
he just looks out of place.
Intimidating at all.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Looks like me. There's some dad who got off his couch. And
like the firefighter chief that's like retiring next year. It's just playing pool. And
certainly not the young,
Tom Cruise.
Not the rogue, not the... you would think you would see someone like a Poe Dameron type character, some young, ambitious, but just like hot shot kind of a character, not some dad who's going around telling dad jokes, giving advice.
It just seems out of place.
Yeah.
I don't mind him.
Yeah, it's cool,
It just
it is funny though. Like every once in a while, there's those casting things where it's like, was there a mix-up on the...
No, he's supposed to be the alien in the cantina. That guy's supposed to be the pilot.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Got those costumes. Got the scotch tape or the masking tape on the uniforms mixed up.
Yeah.
So sometimes those casting things are like, oh, he's a friend of the show kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So who do we know who that actor is, or because his partner was
Dave Filoni
in the one scene, right?
Yeah. I know he's in another successful show. I don't watch it, but he's got a good career, and I do think it's a friend of a friend type thing. Let me look real quick. See what his name is. So have you guys seen him before?
No.
Anything?
I don't remember seeing
just
him.
in these episodes. Not that I recall. Now you may pull him up and I'll be like, oh yeah, I know who that guy is.
So let's see. Paul Sun Hyung Lee.
Captain Carson Teva.
Yeah,
what else was he in?
Oh, he's been in a bunch of
got
stuff.
A few things there.
Boba. Oh, he's in Boba Fett, huh? He was in Kids in the Hall.
Okay, so that makes sense. Oh, well, that kind of makes sense a little bit.
Why is that? What's that connection?
I mean, it seems like, Kids in the Hall, isn't that one of those...
that was that Canadian
like...
SNL type shows.
Yeah, skit show.
Yeah.
So it seems like they draw from...
back in the 90s.
Strangers with Candy, Kids in the Hall. Somebody must be a fan of comedy troupes or something.
Wow, he's in a lot of those straight to DVD kind of things.
He's a working actor, that's for sure.
Yeah,
for real.
he's
A lot of
been
credits.
He was in Ice Princess. Oh man,
Yeah. You don't remember that?
I really remember.
It's in Total Recall.
Kim's Convenience.
The extra.
Yeah, he's a
Kim's Convenience. That's his big
That's
one that
the
people
one.
always refer to.
Kim's
okay.
But I have never seen that.
We've watched a few
Train
of those.
48.
Yeah, 2016 to 2021. So he got some
Wow.
time under his belt.
I'm
with
good
that.
then. I'm good.
He's 2 years older or 2 days older than I am. So
That guy was only born in 72.
he's the same age as me.
Well, I'm
4 years younger than that guy. I'll scroll back up to his.
it's the the beard, man.
Yeah, it's the gray beard. He's got to shave it off to look younger.
Blake's having an epiphany.
Well, this photo here, looks like a grandpa
Right, it's that beard.
with his Emmys there or whatever they are. So he's an accomplished dude.
Represent.
Good for
And
him.
I mean, he's cool. He's enjoyable.
So you and him are the same age.
Yeah, he's 2 days older than me.
So then he is.
What have I been doing with my life? He's acting in Star Wars. I'm just talking about it.
So he's only 14 months older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's only 14 months older than me.
That's cool.
Which means that when he filmed these, he was my age.
your age.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. Good stuff. So, oh yeah. And then we got the scene with the spy reports back to the Empire.
Oh, yeah. That's
And
right.
They've planted a tracking device on the
Shocker.
Razor Crest.
I never saw that coming.
But he did fix up the ship.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The ship
It's
is
brand new.
mint. So
In like an hour.
Yeah. Right, because they went straight
He
to
just-
the base and
that
like,
was quite a gamble.
we're here. Let's just take it out right now.
He went, picked up Grogu, grabbed his ship, like signed whatever papers he needed to, got the keys, got back.
Checked him out of school.
Still bailed him.
When I check my kid out of school, it's a
Gotta
whole
wait, they
ordeal.
Gotta call him down. Yeah.
Gotta call the principal. Gotta find out. They gotta make sure I'm on the list.
Show your ID.
Show my
Give him his
ID.
homework for the rest of the day.
Takes them 20 minutes just to walk from the class to the office.
Jeez, man. Not only did they fix it, they pulled off all the netting that was holding that
Yeah.
thing together too, right?
Yeah. That would take a day just to do that. But I guess they're fast workers.
Too funny.
So they report they got a tracker on him, and then this officer goes and talks to Moff Gideon. So we know he's alive, but now he's officially still involved. And he's standing there with a bunch of dark troopers. We don't know at the time. The next episode, or a couple of episodes later, we find out what they are. But it's just these sinister-looking troopers. I think I remember when they first debuted this episode. We're like, are those like clones? Are they people? Or is it just like robots, droids? We didn't know, but they're droids. So
And prior to this episode, there has never been a mention of a dark trooper.
just in the video games and the books,
Yeah.
maybe comics, but yeah, nothing visual as far as animated shows or movies.
Gotcha.
So that was cool. And I think the dark troopers that had been revealed, there was even some action figures made of them. Like they were like phase 3. And I think these are phase. Well, that wouldn't make sense. I don't know what phase these ones are. But yeah, this is really the first live action time we've seen them. So pretty cool.
All right.
That's it. The episode ends, and we'll see what happens next time in chapter 13, the Jedi. For real this time. For reals, it's the Jedi. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and thanks for watching the show. Definitely subscribe to our channel, so we can interact more with you, and you can catch our future episodes. Go back and listen to our previous reviews. They're all on audio. I think only the last couple have been video. So if you want to listen more, definitely check out our audio podcast, Incredible Nerds, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, on our website, incrediblenerds.com. You find everything there. So thanks for listening, and may the Force be with you.
See ya.